What's good, y'all? How y'all doing this evening?
Welcome to the FILA Sports Podcast. That is the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Two hometown guys talking hometown sports. It's your boy, Coach Mario. I'm my co-host, Don. What's up, man?
What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Mr. Dunn. I was on here earlier. We did a halftime report, and yeah, the game they did make some adjustments in the game, but we'll talk about that later in the show. But glad y'all could join us this evening for the recap for our first game of the season against the Vikings. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. Share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics, and please subscribe. Um, if you haven't been following us on social media, our social media links are above. Twitter, we are at FILA underscore SP. Instagram, FILA Sports Podcast. And also on Facebook, FILA Sports Podcast. And we are also on Spotify and Google Play. And so, yes, just follow us wherever you can. As always,
Come holler.
at your hometown sports
Sports
podcast. We have a special guest on this evening. Somebody I've been, we've been following for, I guess, for a few years now. She does her
Anybody
own.
who's a Falcon fan knows it.
If you're not a true Falcon fan, you really don't know. You're really not a Falcons fan if you don't know who Falcon Alley is. That's just my opinion. So
Yeah.
she's up there with the Bird Lady and the King. You know those popular people in the stadium in the Benz. So,
Yeah.
but let her introduce herself. Go ahead, Allie.
Hey, Falcon Alley, and I've obviously been a Falcons fan, or a huge Falcons fan. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I think is the strangest place to ever be a Falcons fan from, because I wear that like a badge of honor. But living in the den, but have loved the Falcons since the '80s and started covering them several years ago, and have like my own website and stuff like that. So obviously Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff as well. And can't wait to chat with you guys tonight about that debacle today.
Yeah,
That it was.
yeah, it was, but yeah, we
All
go get
right.
into it in a minute.
Well, yeah, because we know y'all all dying to get to it. So, Don, let them know where they can check us out at.
I already gave them all the info they need, man.
You did.
Yep,
You sure
we ready.
did.
Yep,
All right.
we ready to
So
roll.
we're gonna run down the weekend sports real quick, y'all, and then we're gonna get to this Falcons talk. Uh, yeah, yeah, I lost it. All right. So this week, that had a dream. Tuesday they took on LA. They dropped the game 70-60. Thursday they took on Las Vegas. We actually won, rare, 74-78. And today we had a game against New York. It was an evening game, and I didn't check the score
Yeah,
yet. I'll
it
check it
was
before we go to
Liberty won 71, and Liberty won. It was 71-63. So no Atlanta team won today.
sleep. And Angel McCoughtry will be sitting out the rest of the season.
Yes.
I guess Atlanta United was off this week. No games this week, so easy week for Atlanta United. What the Hawks do this week, huh?
All right, team signed former University of Houston guard Amari Brooks to the squad. So yes, so season almost coming up, you guys. Ready to see some Hawks basketball? I know
We
I'm
got
excited.
training camp soon.
Yep, I think it starts.
Another week or so.
Yeah, it starts in a week or so. Yep.
Yeah, another week or so. Training camp starts.
Yep.
What the Braves do this week, Don?
All right. Well, they did a lot. Oh man, we was on fire, man. Like we played the Blue Jays. We won that game 6-3 on Monday. Tuesday we played them again. We won that game 7-2. The rivals came into town, the Nats, and I'm talking about the Nats started with a G, not an N. So we beat them Thursday 4-2. Friday we beat them 4-3, and then yesterday we beat them 5-4. Today I guess they had our number today. We lost the game 9-4. So it was, like I said, man, it was not a good day for Atlanta sports. We did recall Adam Duvall and Austin Riley from AAA, so they're back on the main squad. We did place Alex Jackson on the 60-day IL, and Darren O'Day, he returned from the 60-day IL. And if y'all haven't been watching the games, man, Josh Donaldson, man, this man been on fire, man. He been blessing the rains. Down in Atlanta. And I don't know if y'all ever heard of Toto before. That's 80s music for y'all young cats. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Anyway.
One thing I have to say about the Braves is since the end of May, the Nationals have been the hottest team in the National League since the end of May. And in that time, they have not gained one game on the Braves. So we have the hottest team in the whole league trying to gain ground, and the Braves ain't giving them any. I mean, now that's like, that's super impressive. All right, moving on to the college. Georgia Tech had South Florida yesterday at home. They were able to sweep by 14-10 for Coach Collins' first win. Georgia had Murray State at home, who took care of business 63-17. Georgia State in the game that I covered and attended got past Furman 48-42. Saw some great quarterback play in that game. Really good quarterback play. The Don covered Georgia Southern versus Maine. They were able to get the win there by 26-18. And Kansas State went up to Kent State, and they lost a close one in overtime, 23-26. Which brings us to our Falcon talk for today. Well, first of all, you guys been under rock. We dropped the game today to Minnesota 28-12. Other things that happened during the week, if you guys are under rock, Julio finalized his deal yesterday. The deal is reported to be 3 years for $66 million with 60+ guaranteed. Good job,
yeah, I think that was like whoever said that Julio didn't earn that contract. Like, drop your location, because he earned every penny on that. Seriously, like he worked every penny of that. So.
We cut down our 53 roster casualties with Austin Larkin, Green, Odom, Blake, Logan Paulson, Darren Miles, Alex Gary, Bruce Carter, and Brooks James, the running back. Some of those guys, like I said, you're going to see on NFL rosters. Wide receiver Christian Blake, Chris Cooper, Danny Edwin, Sean Harlow, Austin Larkin, and Justin Zimmer and Brandon Powell all will be on the practice squad, though.
Yeah, I'm glad Larkin made it, man. I'm really glad Larkin made the roster, man. Like,
yeah, and at some point this year, you're gonna see Austin Larkin make the 53-man roster at some point this year. He's gonna dress for a game at some point this year.
Of course.
Road Warriors had this. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Road Warriors. We're gonna start. What's that noise? Goodness. All right, Road Warriors. We're gonna start shouting out people who go to these road games and go support our Falcons. So I know there's 2 people who I guess went to Minnesota and I guess watched the game. They was in attendance. Nigel Christensen and Vincent Coakley Jr. So shouts out to you guys for making that long trip up there to Minnesota to cheer on our Falcons. We really appreciate that. So.
Looking on his Twitter page, I'm pretty sure DeMario Falcons fan was there too. Pretty sure DeMario was there too.
He went to Minnesota?
Yeah. Looking at his Twitter page, I'm pretty sure he was in Minnesota.
Okay. Well, shouts out to
DeMario,
man.
Shine. Desmond Trufant and Calvin Ridley, the shade. Everyone struggled. Turnovers, not stopping the run, and the O-line wasn't clicking. And Campbell gave up the edge a few times and tacked as well.
All right, let's go back to the Shine as far as Desmond Trufant. Desmond Trufant played well. He played great. I don't think he did anything wrong that hurted the team as far as losing the game. So I think Trufant played well, and I think Calvin Ridley, he did a good job as well. What's your thoughts, Adam, on them two?
Well, again, if you follow me, the first thing I'm always going to say is Grady Jarrett did a good job. He had, a sack. I think he had 5 tackles, and one of those sacks, he was caused a fumble that, of course, they recovered. knock the ball out kind of thing. So I think he did a good job. I was going to say Austin Riley. Austin Hooper. So many Austins. I think Austin Hooper had a pretty good game. He had some good numbers. And Justin Hardy actually had some good numbers playing along the way. And I don't know that I would have gone to him in those 2-point conversion. I think you stick with what gets you there. And I think that cost us that one touchdown and one of the 2-point conversions as well.
Yeah, Grady obviously was doing grown man work out there. He definitely was standing out. Other than that, Ito looked good. Who did make a few catches, but other than that, there weren't a whole lot of bright spots there.
To be honest with you, I think Ito ran better than Free today. That's just my opinion.
He certainly had a better average yards per carry. We would have to go back and look at the film and see the scheme, see the blocking, because you think in the first half too. In the first half, the Vikings did bring their safety down. I know Harrison Smith a couple times, like a step behind the linebacker. So they did have an extra guy in the box. We have to look at that. But certainly, Ito, from the naked eye, Ito looked better today.
Yeah. All right. So I know a lot of people have been pinpointing a lot of players who did wrong today. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna let Campbell off the hook, but this man played horrible today. I seen a couple of plays, like the play was coming towards his way. He just standing there. I'm saying, dude, chop your feet, like get after the guy, like make a tackle, do something. Why are you just standing there, just letting the man come to you?
I have to say I didn't notice as much during the game. So when I watch the replay, I certainly will be looking for it. But I definitely will be looking to see why they were getting the edge so much. So I didn't notice it, during the game. But when I watch it later back tonight, I'm definitely gonna pay attention to that.
I'm telling you, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. You go back and watch the film, but you gonna be highly disappointed in Campbell. So what's your thoughts, Allie?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of, not only him, a lot of people that were letting them come to him, chasing him at an angle, which then made it to where you didn't make it to the guy early enough. I love Devondre. I think he was behind a lot, chasing a lot. And of course, that D-line, that they're not made to be chasing that far out. And I saw those guys, taking a lot. Tag had a couple of good hits, but it was just, and I feel like on a couple of plays, that Rico didn't look as hard hitting as I would prefer, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. That's certainly fair.
Yeah. Now, I did see a lot of people bashing Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley played great. Like I know somebody said something on the lines of, we need to take Vic Beasley out of coverage. He didn't do well. It was one play, I guess they had threw the ball to the receiver on the outside, and Vic Beasley, he was covering the flat. When you cover the flat, that's your job. He only gained 1 yard. So I don't know why everybody is all up in arms of, oh well, we should have got rid of Vic Beasley and yada yada yada. I'm saying, like, are we gonna really do this again this year?
I saw him getting a lot of slander, and the sack that he missed, it looks like he kind of throttled down, and there was another rush play where it didn't seem like he was rushing full speed. Those two I didn't like as much, and I seen him getting a lot of slander for that. But when he covered the flats, he did a good job covering the flats. So I don't understand the slander there.
But here's the thing as far as that sack go. I know a lot of people were upset about that, but he could have easily just like knocked Kirk Cousins' lights out right there. But if he would have did that, you already knew they would throw a flag. They were throwing flag stuff right on us, and Minnesota, they didn't get enough. They didn't. I know. When I watched the game, I counted at least 7 to 8 flags that should have been thrown on the Minnesota offensive line, but they didn't call them. So, like I said, you can't put the game in the referee hands, But he should have had that sack. But the new rules now, as far as like protecting the quarterbacks, he trying to pretty much make sure he don't get a penalty. So it's dog if you do, dog if you don't.
Yep. I feel like that's one thing with Vic is, one, a lot of the players are going to play like that. Obviously not Keanu, but KZ, we got KZ at least reeled in from last year. He took enough hits. But some of the guys, I think, around the league, you're going to like that, but got to stop that. But the thing is, and again, Vic's a Clemson boy, so I do think he's overpaid for what he's produced so far. But if you watch just him, you'll see constantly how close he is to something, which doesn't sack anybody, which doesn't accomplish anything. But like you said, all the slander and stuff, it's like he's wandering around lost. He's close, but that doesn't, get anybody on the ground. But I think, like you said, he's in good coverage most of the time, and he's close to getting some stuff. And just now, like you said, with the rules, I think he and a lot of other players are gonna pull up a little bit.
Yeah, let's run through the chat real quick, Don.
Yeah.
We have Charleston Nash checking in the chat. Thanks, Charles, for checking us out. He says Lieutenant Dan, and he predicted it. Trey is checking in. He said the game was ugly. That Georgia boy is here. He said all bad. Yep. Agree with all three of those. What's going on, Mad Mike? Jonathan Post is checking in. He says that Georgia boy could have sworn a while ago Kit said he'd get a nice headset, and this man got that same set, or am I going crazy? They're talking about our headsets.
No, they talking about your headset. Mine's straight. This is what
Can you hear me? Jonathan, can you not hear me, or you just talking about how I look?
Well, they probably saying, well, we'll talk about that later. Donate us. Hey, look, we'll start. We'll give y'all our cash out. You send us some money.
The only reason I didn't, because that first week we found out it wasn't my headset. That's why I was saying I would get a headset. That first week we found out it wasn't my headset. That's why I didn't. So I wasn't lying, but we found out it wasn't me. Mad Mike said he was in Minnesota in the spirit. King Quest 17. He said Diggs was shut down besides that one play, talking about how True Fun played.
Yeah. True Fun shut him down. So.
And Trey says Free just doesn't look the same since their injury. I mean, like I said, I'm not ready to go that far yet, Trey, because, like I said, I need to relook at the film. Like, I'm taking last year out, because last year was hurt. So we knew the man was out there injured, so I can't expect him to look like the Free from a year or 2 years before. But I do want to go back and look at the film this year, today, and count and see, did we have the advantage? Did we just not fit on blocks? Was it Free? Because from the naked eye, it didn't seem like there was much room. So I have to go back and look and see if it was Trey. But he certainly didn't impress today, Trey. So can't go against you. What do you guys think about Devontae gaining back to his Pro Bowl type form?
I think they put him in some bad spots sometimes. I don't want to say they blocked differently, because you could see even in him and Tevin before of last year, before he was hurt, that the scheme is different or something. But a lot of times, Matt rolls back 10 yards, throws up to Free 8 yards. Well, by then it's developed. The defense is developed. They're up there at the line. And I think he gets a lot more of that than some of the other guys will, because they're not necessarily receiving running backs as well. But, Ito, I love Ito. I think he's great. He's a great runner. And they all just have different styles. But I think they give Free some different stuff that ends up kind of jacking him for success sometimes.
Yeah,
but he's supposed to come back. He's supposed to be back healthier and bigger. So,
and
truth be told,
Free is a receiving running back. We've seen that in 2016 with Kyle Shanahan. The problem is the past couple of years, well, outside of last year because he was hurt, but when Steve Sarkisian, he didn't use him a lot in the passing game. So it's I don't know what Dirk is gonna do. I really think that Dirk this game he had a vanilla game plan. So.
Agree completely. I didn't see anything different this year than I saw last year.
Yeah.
As far as, again, one game, but it seemed very, very vanilla in the very, very bad way.
One thing I want to point out is in the NFL, I say you start to look over your shoulder after you get to that fourth loss. You hope that fourth loss comes much later in the season and you can go into some type of run. But you really don't start to I don't want to say panic, but you don't start to get nervous until your fourth loss. So obviously, if your fourth loss comes early October, yeah, you're staring at the eight ball. But until you get to your fourth loss, everybody just kind of calm down.
It's the first game of the season, and I've said this last week that we was gonna end up losing. I predicted it.
We both did. Yeah, we both did.
Yeah, we both did. But I didn't. We didn't predict that it was gonna be like this. But
Nah.
But this is what happens when you don't start. When you don't play your starters in preseason. They came out rusty. They came out rusty, and it showed. So I'm not upset about the loss. I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm about to sell my season tickets and stuff." Look, if you go do that, hit me and Coach up. We will be gladly to take out home tickets to go see the Falcons, man. If y'all look, just as long as y'all give us a discount.
Especially if you don't charge me the PSL fee.
Exactly. But it's not the end of the world, you guys. And then another thing too, like guys, you have to look at other teams too. That's another thing. We just think, oh, this is our team. We love the Falcons, but you got to look up who we playing against. Who we lined up against. Minnesota is a great team. They've been in the top 10 defense for like the past 3 or 4 years. They're not a slouch. It ain't like we went out there and played the Cardinals. Now if we played the Cardinals and we did like this, and yeah, I'd be feeling some type of way too. But we played Minnesota. They were pretty much in the playoff hunt last year as well. So it ain't like we lost to a team that's in rebuild mode or anything like that. We lost to a team that's going to potentially be in the playoffs. And I said this too to a lot of people. I don't know if I said it on here or not, but I feel like the NFC North is going to. I think the Vikings are going to end up winning that division. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people say the Bears, but hey, I don't think Bears may not make it because Vic Fangio, he's in Denver now. So, like I said, that's just my opinion. But we played a good team. We lost. You know, we made and that's another positive too. Got to look at. We made adjustments, but it was a little too late. When you turn the ball over 4 times, and then you don't really give your defense a break. Like we didn't score any points till like the third quarter. Like we didn't give our defense anything to work with, and we kept turning the ball over. And we made the adjustments. The adjustments was there. It just was a little too late.
And we've had a lot of years that we've done that of 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and the defense, they've barely sat down. And so they're tired, and they have with Dan Quinn, they have a lot of running in and out and substitutions, which I kind of disagree with. But I'm like, you're wearing those guys out, just getting them in and out, and it's not, the safeties or the linebackers or something. It's a lot of those big guys at the line. But one thing, I guess my thing on today is I'm not in full panic mode. Burn my stuff in the yard quite yet. My concern is how we looked. Like you said, Minnesota's a good team. They've been in the playoffs. They've been right at that level for a couple of years now. My concern is how bad we played, interceptions, bad decisions, not being able to stop the run almost at all. And then we have Philly next. It's like to your point of 4 losses, I was like, at least we're at home, and I can throw something on the field next week. But Philly's coming in, so that, and then we have the Titans. Yeah, we go to the Titans and kind of lets up maybe a little bit, or Indy, and then the Titans at home. But I was like, that next game, looking at you don't want to go 0-2 and open up again another home season with a loss. But
I'm glad you brought up the that point with stopping the run, Coach. We've been saying this for a long time. I'm talking about even before this podcast even existed. Like, we have been horrible at stopping the run. But guess what? In the off season, these are folks who come at us. Duh, you don't know what you talk about. It ain't that. It's the pass rush. We need to fix the pass rush. Duh, you don't understand what you said. You don't know what you talk about. I'm talking about guys at Falcon Alley, all those people. Now, I'm not trying to call people out or anything like that, but you have to. If you can't stop the run, you're not going to win the game.
And to piggyback off that, Don, when we stop pass rush is also by being able to run the ball, because teams can't just pin their ears back. run the ball, stop the run. Allie, those are two football principles that I live on above anything else, and we didn't do that today.
Well,
We didn't run the ball. We didn't stop the run.
Trust me, I know about the offense, but I'm focused on stopping the run on defense. I'm looking at defense, and the defensive line they did okay. It's the linebackers. The linebackers was outside Deion Jones. Outside Deion Jones, the linebackers was trash, man. Look,
I mean,
if y'all seen,
didn't tackle anybody today.
If you seen,
didn't tackle anybody today.
Yeah, but if you seen the game, Dan Quinn was yelling at Jeff Orich, the linebackers coach, telling him, "Look, man, you need to get your guys together and like fix this." But like, it's gap integrity. The gap integrity was not there. Devondre Campbell. This is why I go back to Devondre Campbell. He did not do well on his gap integrity. He running into other people's gaps. I'm saying, like, dude, what are you doing?
I feel like it was a hot mess. Our defense, I feel like I went into the season with all the hype and buying into all that. Look at all these guys. We got everybody back. Everybody's healthy. All these other guys that were, here last year. And it was a mess. The whole defense, really. Like you said, the line was decent, but then everybody else. And you say in the linebackers, but like, how can that possibly be? I don't know, but they were.
Yeah, it was the linebackers because it was gap integrity. They're not. You're supposed to stay in you're supposed to attack certain gaps, and then when you don't, if you go in somebody else's gap, like that's what happened. Folks were running into each other. Folks were getting washed out. By guards and in the center and stuff. So that's what happened. But let's go back into the chat real quick.
That Georgia boy was teasing me about my headset anyway. But Jonathan said he can't hear me. He said he was just teasing me about my headset. King Quest said he saw a Saints fan saying we should be crying because the ref was the same one that screwed them. What particular play are you talking about? Can you talk about a particular play? King Quest?
I know what he's talking about. It was pretty much the game. Look, there was calls that were supposed to be called, and there was calls that weren't called. Like I just said this a while ago, that Vikings offensive line, they was holding a lot. They was holding tack. It was a couple of plays they was holding tack, and I ain't seen not one flag thrown. But you know what? We not Saints fans. We Falcons fans. We not finna sit up here and whine. We're not finna sit up here and whine and petition to the league. Oh, we got robbed. Like, man, move on.
I'm starting my lawsuit today. I'm still getting one from like 2012 with the San Francisco game. I'm ready to.
I know, right?
It's like Navarro crazy Bowman. People.
Yeah, Navarro Bowman owes money. King Quest also said Jake Matthews needs to learn how to defend the spin move.
All right, look,
they got beat on that one.
They got to get linemen, man. They just gonna have to get their footing back, man. These guys ain't played really since December. I don't even think Jake Matthews took that many snaps in preseason, so it's gonna take him a while. And we already know Jake Matthews in the beginning of the season, he a little rusty, but last year he was a Pro Bowler, so it's gonna take him. I'd say by week 2, week 3, he'll be fine.
Like that whole O-line was a mess again.
Exactly.
And I hear Lindstrom might be out.
Yes, I was just about to bring up. Yep, and that Georgia boy put it in the chat as well. That Lindstrom left the game in a walking boot. So hopefully it's not too serious. Anytime guys have to fly, they're gonna put them in the walking boot for the altitude and to keep it immobile. So let's just wait till tomorrow to see the severity of it. But in a walking boot, that doesn't sound good.
I just hope it's not nothing serious because this goes stunt his development. He's a rookie. He needs to be out there with the O-line. Because today, man, they was in the line of fire, man. And a lot of people were saying that, Caleb McGarry shouldn't be out there. Well, I'd rather for him to go through the growing pains now than go through it then week 13 we trying to have playoff hopes. Let him learn now, so that way by week 13 or week 10 he'll be polished. So,
well, your other option is Ty Sombrello for now. So I'd let Caleb out there. He seems a little crazy, so I'd let him out there and learn as he goes.
Yeah. One other thing that was talked about today was the interception. Obviously, the first one that should never been thrown. A guy was able to undercut Julio and take the ball away. He should never been thrown. The second one, I'm not as mad as Matt. You throw to a spot and the plenty of times, depending on what type of offense you run, throw to a spot. He was throwing to a spot in the back corner. He didn't know that Stocker would stop. Stocker should have kept that DB on his back and not allowed him to get to the ball, which is what Matt expected him to do.
But
So
Stalker's
I,
not
I
that
don't.
type of. But Stalker's not that
Yeah,
type of person. If anybody,
yeah.
whoever should have been on that route right there should have been Hooper. Hooper would have made that catch. Stalker is your blocking tight end. All right.
So
I'll be honest with you, in that situation, that play shouldn't have ever been called. Get the ball to Ito, who's on the 4-yard line, I believe. Get the ball to Ito, here running in for a touchdown.
second down, I believe. Yeah, it was second down from the 4.
Well, also, Julio, Calvin, and Sanu were on the sidelines, and you have Luke in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know him enough to have anything against him, but you got to have somebody that's been there. And like you said, he shouldn't have stopped. That's kind of on him, even though Matt took the hit for it, of course. But
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why you're getting away from something. I mean, look at Calvin. Calvin's incredible, and he's going to just get better.
Yeah. But I think that was Steve Sarkisian's right there. That play call. That was Steve Sarkisian right there. I was saying, like, I need to check it out. Is that Steve Sarkisian still with us or something?
Yeah, tear up that book. If it's sitting somewhere, tear that book up.
Yeah, so like I said, that second interception, I'm not as mad about Matt. I wish he wouldn't have thrown it off his back foot, but it wasn't a terrible decision. That as a receiver there, you have to keep the DB on your back. You can't allow him to undercut that route. So Stocker has to do a better job of that. Now, in his defense, you see Stocker let the guy undercut him, and he wanted to go back the other way. That would have actually been a good decision, but if Matt is not expecting you to do that, he doesn't know you're going to do that. So it looked like what Stocker was doing, he's trying to break that to the free area. But if the route is designed to go to the corner of the end zone, and Matt doesn't know you're going to break it off. So I'm not as mad about Matt on that.
Now, this is my thing. Now, they were sending a lot of blitzes today.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Zimmer's known for that. Now, what Dirt should have did earlier in the game was he should have utilized Austin Hooper more. Austin Hooper is the X factor on this offense. I don't care what anybody tell me, because we know our O-line right now it's not gelled yet. Once our O-line is gelled, then Matt Ryan will have time in the pocket to make those throws downfield, because we know Dirt likes to throw it downfield. But right now, as far as our O-line go, we need to be utilizing Austin Hooper a lot.
And I don't think he started looking at him until late in the third, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, second half. Definitely second half.
That's when they made the adjustments. I'm saying, like, it's a little too late to do that now. I'm glad y'all doing it, but we should have been doing this like in the first quarter. We knew what Zimmer was going to end up doing. Zimmer knew, okay, these guys got 2 rookies on the right side. They got a new person, James Carpenter, and then Mack, and you got Mack and you have Matthews. I knew he was gonna blitz. So when you send the blitzes, your tight end, your running backs is gonna be open. Utilize them, use them.
Yep. So what do you guys what do you guys think next week? Can we get back on track, or you guys down, or you guys still upbeat? What do you guys think? I mean, I'm still optimistic. Like I said, if we didn't get to the 4th loss yet, it's one game. I wouldn't say one game establishes consistency. So I'm still optimistic. What do you guys think?
By the way, I'm not drinking any alcohol. This is cream soda, by the way. So I don't drink alcohol, so I'm not drunk.
I do.
Well, you should, because you're a Falcon fan.
I drink alcohol. I didn't today, but I do. The day's not over.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So one more question I want to bring. One more thing we need to talk about. Now, Vic and Tack. All right. This is their first time we seen them in base defense. First time. Now Vic and Tack, they are known for pass rushers, but now we're asking to do more. We asking them to do more. The drop in coverage, stop the run, which they can do. They didn't. They did okay today, but I'm pretty sure as the season go along, they're gonna get better at playing in base. What you guys think?
Yeah. What I don't like is you see how we have Vic and Tech standing up, and we have them kind of inverted. You saw that one play where Tech gave up the big sweep, where he went in and he attacked at the wrong angle. I would rather that the guys face straight up field, because when they're punching at the angle, you see that running backs are too able to bounce outside of me and get outside that. I don't like the angle that Vic and Tech would really Tech. I don't like the angle he's taking to the backfield. And he continues to take that angle, so I think that's what he's supposed to be doing. I don't like that.
Yeah, I seen Tech did struggle with stopping the run, but look, man, he just gonna have to learn, man. He just gonna have to learn.
He kept doing the same thing, so I was thinking that's what he's supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Which means somebody else isn't doing their job. So when I watch the game back, I'll definitely be looking at that as well, figure out who was wrong.
What's your thoughts, Allie?
Yeah, I think they're both good. They just, like you said, I think some of those angles, and I feel like a lot of it's what they're being told to do versus some of their natural tendencies. I feel like that's, what they're told, and it's not working. And kind of let them use their natural ability. I was hoping, and I didn't really notice. I saw him a couple of times in there, like Claybo would kind of help get them set a little bit, but I don't know how often he was in there. I know I saw him a couple of times. But kind of get him coached up and Vic on his spin move and all that kind of stuff. But it just kind of a little bit rough right now. And I feel like, again, going back to our, early in the whole thing is people not playing. And there's a lot of teams obviously like that. Whoever played Thursday night, that was, Green Bay, Chicago was a hot mess of most of those people hadn't played. And I feel like that's, a piece of it, of getting that full contact practice or full contact, preseason games.
Yeah. Going back to the chat real quick, Don. King Quest, I hate to even read this comment. Not you, but just with the starters. I seen people talking about bringing Vic back to the quarterback, and why? I'm not even going to discuss it. We're going to keep moving.
I'm not going to say nothing about it. I'm not going to entertain
and
that.
And then Trey told him every time Matt Ryan throws a pick, people say bring back Vic. They do that. Like I said, I'm keep moving past that one. And Mad Mike, he wants to pile on and say he's going to start the petition today. Everybody, Mad Mike's jumping. That Georgia boy said the Falcons were definitely still in preseason mode. Did look like that Georgia boy.
I tweeted that out earlier. I said this was pretty much a glorified preseason game for us. So
this was another take on the second interception in the end zone. A lot of people said, including Jonathan Foskey here, that they thought Hoop had more room. I actually think if Matt throws the ball to Hoop, I think that defender comes up and makes the tackle before he gets in the end zone. But I wouldn't be mad at that decision as well. But like I said, I'm not mad at the decision to throw it to stopper either. So, certainly you figure that Hooper is the bigger threat receiver. Jonathan also said he bet Steve got drunk and wandered into the booth and called that play. That man gonna never live that down. And Matt Mike said it was no excuse not to feature Austin Hooper. Yeah, exactly. In the second half we did go to him playing, and you would think that the way that they were bringing pressure, we could have got Hooper balls. We did find Sanu with a little dig route several times across the route, but we got to figure out something because teams are going to blitz us, teams are going to stunt, teams are going to do things to confuse our young offensive line. So we're going to have to be ready for that.
Oh yeah, I apologize to the Rise Up King. He was in attendance in Minneapolis today. So shouts out to the Rise Up King for making that trip up to Minnesota to see our Falcons take on the Vikings. Appreciate you.
Our Chapman said a lot of fans got humbled today. Some thought we were going to go into U.S. Bank Stadium and beat the Vikings by 30. I don't know who thought that, Chapman, but they definitely weren't being analytical.
We told them. We tried to tell. Look, man. Look, I don't like to toot my own horn or anything. I don't like to brag or nothing. Look, man. We said this. We said this last week. I know the Minnesota Vikings. All right, they are a great team. They have a great defense. we don't have a defense like that. Yes, Dan Quinn taking over the defense. Yes, but we going off what he did in 2016, which he did a great job. He got to the Super Bowl. We was that close to winning it, but it's 2019. We still need to see what we can do, and we got a lot of new people. We got who's the guy from New Orleans? We got
Davidson.
Tyler Davidson.
Oh yeah.
We got Allen Bailey. We got come on now, like it's gonna be a while, you guys. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a good defense this year. It's week 1. It's week 1. We went up against a good team. So
I'm just a little distressed. Like the O-line still, again, like you said, almost everybody's new, hadn't played together a minute because everybody's been in and out. I'm concerned that doesn't look any better than it has the past 2 years, and you don't keep Armstrong like a stepchild and I don't even know who the special teams person is now, and I'm like, I don't know what he's doing that's spectacular because you couldn't find a returner that you landed on. We got the kid that, Bosher blew up out of Carolina. I was like, I mean, he did decent today. He didn't fumble the ball, but I'm like, I mean, the
kid Bosher blew up.
I mean, Bosher's crazy, so that's good. But I was like, I don't know why you would have gotten him and brought him to the team after that. But I mean, he had a couple of good run backs today, but obviously didn't have a lot of time except coming back from touchdown after touchdown kickoffs. But I just hadn't seen all this change that you wanted, and then that we were promised. And like you said, the DQ's running the defense.
Like I said, I'm optimistic though. I will admit, I'm not hitting the panic button, but I will admit if we play like this on Sunday night, again, Sunday night at home against another good team, then I'll be concerned. So right now I'm being optimistic, but next Monday morning, if we have a showing like this, yeah, I'm gonna be ready to dive off the roof.
If you see somebody jumping on the field, know it was me.
That was you. Okay.
Help stop the pain, tackle somebody, something. I just think we have to play better. I think obviously Minnesota is a good team. I mean, Philly is. I just don't think we played, even if we lost, if y'all want to choose that we lost, I always think we're going to win. But I think it should have definitely been way closer because that score isn't even accurate. There's 2 touchdowns at the end.
Exactly. Exactly.
Those turnovers killed us. Like,
yep.
Those turnovers killed us, and we couldn't do anything to stop the run. That right there sealed our fate in that game.
And Minnesota. Go ahead, Ella. Go ahead.
I was going to say, just how was your first play sack? Your first play of the season was a sack.
Well, you think about the whole first drive, the whole first quarter. Sack, punt block, interception. I mean, could we have asked? We couldn't stop the run. Could we have asked for a worse start? So penalties. So I mean, we started horribly.
Hold on. Chuck Cole. Who's Chuck Cole? Well, you might as well jump. What you mean? What do you mean by that?
What do you see there? Okay, new guy.
Well, he said.
Oh, I said if we play. I said if we play bad this week, I'll dive off the roof. So he's saying that basically we're about to play bad this week. Yeah, he said I'll dive off the roof.
He said there's no excuse how the offense played. Jake Matthews was horrible. It's no excuse for him at all the way he played. Like I said, man, when you don't play enough snaps in the preseason, you're gonna come out looking like crap.
Yep.
So it's like I said, we said this. I know a lot of y'all just not joining the chat. We said earlier, look, we played a great team in Minnesota, and this was pretty much like a glorified preseason game. I don't expect that we gonna go out next week and be the same way. Like I said, it's positives. I like to see things half glass full instead of half glass empty. I just think we made the adjustments that were needed. Because if we didn't, we would have been blown out. It would have been 35-0.
Well, in the chat, Charleston Nash said he'll be going to the Titans game, and R. Chapman says that people forget Minnesota had a stout defense for years. You are correct, Eric Chapman. He also said that we lost that game because we lost it in the trenches. Plain and simple, R. Chapman. Plain and simple, you're right. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't stop the run. That's what the game was lost at. I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Jody Brady said, when will Allison get some touches? I hope next week.
Agree. Good question.
That Georgia boy, I think that's an awesome question. That Georgia boy, he put in the chat. Do y'all think the D line and linebackers are too small?
I think the D
Yeah.
line. No, I think the D line is fine. It's the linebackers. Look. Here's my thing. If you upgrade Devondre Campbell, all right, not Olison.
Olakun.
Olakun. He's in his second year. All right. When he got in today, meh. But I'm pretty sure Olakun's gonna get better throughout the season. I don't think I seen Duke Riley out there today. So
I don't remember either.
Well, he had a great
Um,
preseason. Come on now, let's cut him some slack. He had a good preseason.
No, he won his job definitely in those last couple of games.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to come back. I feel like Devondre's huge though. He's way bigger than the other linebackers.
Campbell's big. Yeah,
But
Campbell's big. Now,
he's
the
big.
thing I was about to say is it's a trend around the league, though, that Georgia boy. You see now with the spread offenses, and you see now with these Tyreek Hills, McCole Hartmans, these type of guys right here, Danny Edelmans, Amendolas, all these guys, Calvin Ridley. The smaller linebacker, Deion Jones, is to now be able to run and cover in space because teams aren't playing with a fullback and running leads. So I do believe that not just the Falcons, the smaller linebacker is a trend that's going along around the league. So teams, so guys can run and scrape. But like I say, you are able to run against guys that are smaller. So I don't think it's necessarily a Falcons thing. I think it's just a trend around the league.
Here's my thing as far as linebackers. One thing, I don't care how big you are as far as a linebacker. You gotta have a high IQ. If your IQ is on point at that position, you can play at a high level in the NFL. I really think Campbell's IQ is just not up to par. And I'm not even just talking about Campbell. It's other linebackers on the scene too. Like Duke, I think Duke Riley, his IQ is not that high. He's athletic. Campbell's athletic too. This whole team is full of athletes. All right, but you got to have it up here. And if you don't know where the play is going to go to, or which gap you need to run into, like you're going to get blown up every play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. King Quest asks, who is the Jags backup? I don't know who the bags. RB Blackshear, he joined us. He said, gap integrity is our issue. Don said that a little bit before you joined Blackshear. He said the exact same thing. That was obviously evident in the second half. And they people wondering when will Allison get some touches. And Jody Breeze said Freeman is damn near weird running the football. What you mean by that, Jody? He's weird. Archangel joined us. What's going on, Archangel? Got to regroup and get over this game as quickly as can. He says, Jonathan Posky says, I wish Allison and Sanat would have played today, but they were inactive. Why was Sanat inactive? Why do you guys think Sanat was inactive?
He probably was. He was a lot last year just because only having the 40 whatever out there. And I'm like, I don't know. Wow. I don't know how you expect him to learn and to grow if you never have him out there and run him in and out, because I think he can be good if they give him a chance. And like they're saying, if Olison wasn't even active, obviously, because that's what I wondered why he never came in. He's a completely different runner because he's so much bigger than the other guys.
Nah, Quadri wasn't on the active. He was in street clothes. They showed him on the sideline. He was in street clothes.
As far as tonight goes, I really think Dan Quinn I guess he just don't.
It's coach's decision. Yeah, coach's decision, I guess.
It's a coach's decision. I really think Dan Quinn just don't feel like he wasn't able to suit up.
One thing we have to remember too as well, guys. This is the NFL. I've coached. I'm pretty sure you guys coach. I played a guy who wasn't the most talented guy before because that was the guy that, for lack of a better word, liked. That was the guy who did what I asked him to do. That was the guy who performing off the field in other areas. So you have to remember this is still NFL. sometimes, and I'm not saying this about the Deidre tonight, I don't have any insider info. Sometimes it's not always play while guys are on the field. Sometimes it's the things they're doing off the field. Sometimes they aren't serious enough. Sometimes they aren't, and I don't know this about Deidre tonight, but it's not always just his talent. Sometimes just, hey, that guy's not doing the things off the field that we need him to do to be a part of this team.
Exactly.
That does go along in professional sports, but the coach is not going to come and tell you, hey, this dude's an asshole. That's why he's not playing. Coaches in professional sports don't do that.
Not Deidre. I met him. He's sweet.
Yeah,
He's a good person. He's a great person.
I'm talking in general because I don't know anything about Deidre tonight, so I'm just talking in general. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Matt. Matt might letting y'all know. Hey, new people, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Archangel, he's also said something on the lines that we lost as a team. I'm not trying to single out just one person, because I already said that, like, first is defense goes, offense goes. We lost as a team. There was a team lost. It wasn't just off one person. But I know a lot of people on social media pretty much blaming just one person. Some people blaming Matt Ryan, Chuck Cole. He's blaming Jake Matthews, saying, "Tell me, where have you seen Matthews dominate anybody?" I'm just frustrated with him. All right, well, I don't know the title Pro Bowl. I don't know if the title Pro Bowl means anything to you, but the man was in the Pro Bowl. He was in the Pro Bowl last year. They don't just get it out to anybody, especially it's a lot of left tackles in the league. So,
I mean, it's kind of, I think it's kind of a loaded question as well, though, because you ask, when has your left tackle just dominated anybody? How would you notice? Unless you continue to run 35 power, how would you notice? You not notice. Think about the times when Matt isn't getting hit. When Matt isn't getting hit, do you go back and say, boy, left tackle was dominating today? No, you only notice the left tackle, unfortunately, when he's doing bad. If we're going to continue to run 35 power, yeah, you're going to notice the left tackle again, because you're like, man, we keep running left. But unless he's doing bad, you're not going to notice the left tackle is doing awesome, unless he's playing against a guy who has 1 billion sacks and he's not getting any sacks today. So normally, you're not going to notice that your left tackle is playing awesome today. You're not going to notice it. You don't, which is good. If you don't notice him, it's a good thing.
I feel like you should not know your offensive linemen's names, because you're just doing a good job. You're not like, oh my God, that was so and so again. I feel like that. I remember back in the day, I'm like, I don't know who the O-line was, not because it was the O-line, because like you said, if they're not getting called out for holding or letting somebody go, you don't know who they are.
Exactly. No news is good news.
Exactly.
Go back into the chat. Oh, Jody Bray saying Freeman wasn't even trying to run to the outside. And he also said that he fumbled in the red zone. It is true. Like, he was trying to bruise somebody, and like, he was going to get stuff in that play anyway. But instead of him just taking a hit and just going down, he was trying to truck somebody, and the ball came out. And Ward Dunn has already talked to him this offseason, like, man, you need to chill out, or you're going to hurt yourself.
That's how Free runs, though. He's going to be concussed mid-season.
No, go ahead, Allie.
I was going to say, and that's why we got so many running backs. That's why I wanted to keep so many. I was like, you don't know when Free's going to go out, like I said, concussed with something, because of the way he runs. And like you said, making that extra half a yard. And that, I saw that on slow-mo, and it's not like he's carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, like some people. He was low and barely fumbled it. Fumble's a fumble, but still.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yes, the thing I was going to say, Allie, we did a show this summer, pretty much. I'm sorry, y'all, my son passed my background. We did a show this summer, and we basically talked about, do we think Free was going to get hurt? And I said, yeah, I think he'll be hurt. And boy, I got drug on Twitter. No, I don't want Free to be hurt. I see his running style. That is his style that he's been running with since that man started playing with since 6 years old.
Yep.
He's not going to stop that in one off season. I love his violent running style, but conducive to injury, he's going to get hurt running like that. I love Free's style, but he's going to get hurt running like that. And no, I don't want him to get hurt, but I'm sorry. I just don't believe you can run like that as running back in the NFL, getting 20 carries a game and stay healthy. I just don't.
And this is telltale signs why every year they draft the running back. They know. Everybody. Yeah, we know how Devontae Freeman is. They know what type of style he run. But if he want to play more longer, he need to switch it up a little bit. But I know it's going to be difficult for him to do that.
How long Free been in the league? How
He
many
was
years he
drafted
been
in
in? We got him in 13?
No, it was 14.
14. So you got to play 7 years to get a pension in the NFL, right? Is it 6 or 7? It's 6, right?
Mm.
So he'll be in his pension year after this year. So he'll be straight. Yeah, he'll be straight. Because Free has to get to that pension before, he's going to have some medical issues later in life. Somebody double check that for me. I think it's 6 years you got to play in the NFL to get your pension.
Yeah, this is his 6th year. Okay. But I don't know when the pension is, but this is his 6th year.
I'm positive it's 6 or 7. I think it's 6.
All right.
Yeah. He got paid. He's got some money if he banks it. Yeah. He's got him a big deal before everybody else's big deal started.
But I'm talking about when he gets my age. And he needs to go see that doctor. Exactly. That's when that medical and that pension will kick in. That he doesn't have to spend his money on it. Yeah.
Right, go back into the chat. We'll go ahead and run down the chat, and then we'll go ahead and end the show.
Okay. Where'd you left off at? He fumbled in the red zone, right? Yep, that's where we left off at. Yep. And that Georgia boy says that goes back to Quinn. He's been saying for years now, clearly players are not communicating on the field. He was commenting on a couple comments ago. And Trey says, I don't understand why the defense can't be big and fast like Minnesota's. They are all fast and they can stop the run. They are fast, but Eddie Kendricks is like the same size as Debo. Eddie Kendricks is a fast guy. He isn't a huge guy. So I would say that like Barr isn't, he's nice size, but he's a speed guy as well. So I would say Minnesota has a lot of speed guys out there as well. They don't have those big thumpers that, we saw, years ago. So Minnesota, but their linebacker certainly did play better than ours.
Yeah, Barr, the thing is, Barr is the same type of player Vic Beasley is. Thing is, Barr is ahead of the curve because he been in that natural spot for ever since he was drafted. Vic, we done moved this man around so much. He
don't know where he is.
We done stunt his development. So we putting him back in his natural position at that outside linebacker. He can drop into because the man, he's good at dropping into coverage, and he's good at pass rushing as well. Yeah. He's not good at putting his hands in the dirt.
Classic example. Check out the team that's on now. Just remember years ago, Pittsburgh in that 3-4, the two middle linebackers were these big, meaty, heavy thumper guys. Look at Pittsburgh now and look at their linebackers. They aren't like that anymore. They're guys who can run. So it's a trend on the league because Pittsburgh and Baltimore running that 3-4. They were the last two with those big, wide, that linebacker just isn't in style because teams aren't running leads anymore. They're not running fullbacks anymore. So you don't need that big, huge guy. But you need a guy who can chase around, a guy like Alvin Kamara, that type of guy. And Archangel says, one game doesn't define the season. It was just week 1. I certainly agree with that, Archangel. Exactly. Jonathan Foskey says people need to chill on the O-line. 3 new guys, 2 of which are rooks, and we're going against top 5 defense. First game, give them time and chill. Exactly. King Quist says, I don't see how that fumble was recorded by the Vikings when Freeman had the ball. Yeah, they ruled that the Vikings originally had possession. I didn't like that one either. Yeah. Even though he did, you never see that made call. You never see that call.
What you thought about that, Alex?
I don't know. I love Free, so I think that was BS. Like I said, it wasn't to be a bad fumble. Like you always got to hold on to the ball, but it's not like he was doing something bad. He was trying to get extra yards. He's almost floating on the ground. Mm-hmm. And it was barely a fumble because another, 6 inches and his knee was down by the time it was coming out. But you still got to protect the ball.
Yeah. Man, Jake getting a little more slander. Chuck Cole says a Pro Bowl left tackle getting beat on a slow spin move twice. Now, in his defense, that he says a slow move, but that's Griffin. He's done that to a lot of people. So, but I certainly agree, Cole. I'm not okay with it doing it to my left tackle. So,
Griffin's
but,
a good DN,
yeah.
Man. So he ain't.
I'm just saying. I'm just talking about his spin move. Like he's a good player, so his spin move can't be that average. That's a huge cat, Allie. Man, was that a tiger or a panther?
But that's a different cat. I done saw a different cat earlier. Like, how many cats you
Sorry.
got?
Sadly, I have 4 because I'm crazy. But that one I just lifted. I was trying to get him over the camera. I actually named him Brooks after Keith Brooking. And I don't want any Keith Brooking hate from anybody.
I had a joke. Well, I had a joke about to come out of my mouth.
He's coming. He might be coming back. I'll let y'all see him. I don't know exactly what y'all are seeing. So I don't know if you're seeing him or his tail.
Man, that's like a bobcat. That cat is huge.
As long as you name one of your cats Core Beerman, you good.
Baller Red, thanks for joining, Baller. He says, how do you guys feel about the helmet penalties? And Kiki might be targeted this season. I thought that we were gonna get a flag on that Gage. I thought the Gage hit, we would get a flag on that. Looked like targeting. He like you with his helmet on that one. Yeah.
You already knew they were supposed to be flat, but you already know how the league is against us. They don't like us.
Yeah, he's in concussion protocol, but that wasn't a flag.
Yeah, the defender certainly led with his head. And our angel says, I would just say this, even though we can't be dependent on the refs, they miss some face mask calls or helmet to helmet at least twice. Yeah. There was one face mask, I think it was on Hooper, everybody was yelling. The guy didn't have Hooper's face mask, he had his jersey. So it was one, Hooper was looking down. That one that Hooper caught a pass, he didn't have his face mask on, he had his jersey. I went back and I rewinded and looked at it a couple times. I slowed it down. He had his jersey and not his face mask. And one thing people doesn't realize, because usually when you touch the mask, you get the flag. Go and look at the rule. Touching someone's face mask is not a penalty. If you touch it and grab it, it's the penalty. If you touch the face mask and the ref realize you basically, you tried to come off of it, it's grabbing. So just touching someone's face mask does not draw a penalty. Usually it does, but technically that's not the rule. Just grabbing a defender, doing that to a face mask isn't a penalty. So people need to realize that. Go and read the face mask rule. And a couple last.
I just had on a penalty that reminded me of one that you had talked about. And I don't know, I can't remember who the guy was, on one of their touchdowns. I think it was a touchdown or right at the 1 yard line. Their guy put his head down. I'm like, that's supposed to be a penalty. It's not always the poor defender, it's also on that. And I can't remember if that was the one when he jammed into Rico or if it was somebody else. I just remember seeing it and I was like, that is a helmet, putting your helmet down, whatever the name of it is this week. I was like, that's the same thing. It's just not a defender doing it.
Yeah. Jonathan said that, Jake was going against Everson Griffin, who was really good NFL DE. And Chuck, you do have a great point too. Chuck Cole said, but Jake is a Pro Bowler as well. Awesome. I mean, can't argue with that, Chuck. That's a great point. Yeah, you shut me up then. You're right.
Got you.
Yeah,
but
Chuck, I ain't gonna argue with you.
And then Jonathan said that your Chuck Everson Griffiths is a 3-time Pro Bowler.
And what Jake is once.
One. So 3 is better than 1. 3 is greater than 1.
Chuck. He's been there 3 times. But no, you got a good point, Chuck. He's a Pro Bowler too. We should expect better play. I mean, I can't be mad at you there. And they brought up Kiki's helmet to helmet, and Kiki's gonna draw the flag every time now because he has that stigma. He has that stigma, so Kiki's gonna get the flag every time because it's out there about him that he's a headhunter. Oh, and if you guys think refs don't know, certain guys when they reference go, certainly they know. So believe me, if you think that they didn't know that Keanu Neal was on the field, believe me, they know.
They started calling extras on KZ last year, even after he was starting to try to clean it up, which I think he's done. And I know everybody hates Rocky, but Rocky got a lot of PIs that weren't PIs because he was handsy early. And then he'd definitely get him. Like they throw at him just because they're like, even if he doesn't catch it.
Yeah, he got that stick, Yeah. And we talked about the one on Cage, Art Angel, and that was pretty much it in the chat. And he brought up the one that you were talking about, Allen Cook. He said Cook is the guy on the goal line who lowered his helmet. Yep. So that wraps it up for the chat. Done.
All right. Well, everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all joining us this evening. So we'll be back next week. But I really want to appreciate. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Don. We're recording Sunday next week. Sunday night. What we're gonna do? Monday or early Sunday or Saturday? What we're doing next week?
It'll be early Sunday. It'll be early
Early
Sunday.
Sunday.
We'll look.
Okay,
Be on
cool.
the lookout. If you follow us on our social media, you'll know when we dropping the show. All right, just stay
Yeah,
tuned.
yeah.
But
We're not
yeah,
gonna record during the Falcons game. Yeah.
we're not. Yeah, we're not about to do that. Oh no. But I really want to appreciate Falcon Alley for coming on to the show this evening. I know you probably had better things to do. You know, hang out with your cats, or had your own show. I know you do your own show. You do your own show on YouTube too as well. So you could have been doing everything else, but you know you're here with us tonight. We really appreciate that. Can you drop your information and plug your information for us, please?
Yeah, one, I definitely want to say thank you guys for having me on here. This was awesome. I always like to vent and and chat and kind of reevaluate and then hear other thoughts and details that I didn't see. But it's Falcon Alley, and my website is falconalleyfootball.com. And on Instagram, you can find me on Falcon Alley or Falcon Alley Football. You can search both of those. And also on Facebook is Falcon Alley Football. So hopefully, I had a little bit of drama today with getting to watch the game because DirecTV did something crazy. So I literally watched part of it on a phone and part of it on my laptop until it died. So I'm a little sketchy on some of the details, but got the overview.
You said Drake TV?
Yeah, DirecTV.
Oh, Direct. I thought you said Drake TV. I'm like, what is Drake TV? Okay.
It is crazy. Yeah, no, DirecTV. For some reason, that game was blacked out here, and nobody knows why. Like everywhere. So we were watching.
It's a away game.
I know, and somebody was videoing, had their phone up, holding it, watching it on TV. So that's how we watched part of it, and it was kind of shaky and everything. And then, like I said, we got it on my computer for a little while. So I will have articles up though later this week. Normally, I would have one up Sunday night or early Monday. So I will get an article up recapping today's game. We'll call it game. And then also have a lot of stuff, different stuff on there from the players and different interviews and chats and press conferences and stuff like that. So, but again, like I said, thank you guys for having me on here. This is awesome.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. So we're going to be back this Wednesday. We're going to be talking about some Georgia State football with Ben Moore. So, Coach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right,
I'm here. I'm in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. I was in the chat. I'm sorry. You set me up. Do it again. We got Wednesday. We got Ben Moore.
Ben Moore coming on. We're gonna talk some Georgia State football. We're also gonna cover our experience being, in the media boxes. I was at Georgia Southern game yesterday, and Coach was at Georgia State game yesterday as well. So we're gonna be shooting that short. It will return on Wednesday night. I know last week we had to shoot it on Monday because of the hurricane, but
I was gonna say, just like always, we do a hometown, show. So we mainly focusing on the Georgia teams, but join our show and give your team a holler because Don is a Michigan fan.
Okay, and your point is,
I had to bring it up.
Your point is.
You guys went to overtime army.
But I still support all Georgia's collegiate teams, so it doesn't matter.
And if you like a team outside of Georgia, still join us and drop your team a holler or comment on your team, and we can talk about them as well.
All right. So if you're new to the channel, you already know, hit the subscribe button. Also share this content out with other Atlanta sports fanatics. Hit that like button and hit us up in the comment section. We'll get back with your comments. And if you ain't following us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter at FILA_SP. Follow us on Instagram at FILA Sports Podcast. And also follow us on Facebook at FILA Sports Podcast. As always,
come holla
at your hometown sports podcast. On that note, we'll see you guys Wednesday for our Rivalry Week show. Y'all have a great evening.